Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Pow Block here on Boss Rush Games. I'm your host, the enlightened, excited ADV. Joining me is the indie insider himself, Mr. Daniel Murphy.
How you guys doing tonight?
Yes, the devastating dungeoneer himself, Mr. David Lasby.
Hey everybody, happy to be here.
And we have a special guest joining us this time. He is the Nintendo lore of gaming, Mr. Jacob Taylor.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hello, guys. How are you? We're just having a good conversation beforehand. But before we get into housekeeping, welcome, Jacob. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here. I've been dying to talk Nintendo stuff with people, so this is wonderful. This is an excellent time with me. How are you?
I am doing good. Would you like to introduce yourself to anybody who's hearing about you for the first time?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Jacob. I go by Galatrad everywhere on the internet. Galutrad. I am a Nintendo fanboy through and through. Have always been a big fan of them, and you know, I'll dip my toes in elsewhere and then just go right back into Nintendo stuff. I try to keep things positive and just move through life that way.
Okay, all right. Well, let's jump into this good old housekeeping because you guys, we got a discussion. We was already in a good discussion, and we had to save it for the show. That's what happens with Boss Rush Games. We get into so many good discussions before we record that saving it is just like, I want to continue that talk, but we're going to save that for a little bit later. We're going to get into our quick housekeeping. This is episode 224 of Nintendo Pow Block Podcast. Each and every week we come together to talk about games and everything we love about them with our friends. You can join us live on Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/BossRushGames live and be a part of the conversation. But if you can't join us live, no big deal. You can head over to youtube.com/BossRushGames and BossRushGames.com to watch the show or listen on your podcast service of choice. Remember to subscribe, follow, rate, and review wherever you consume us. It helps us out with discoverability, and check out our family of shows wherever you listen to your podcast. So you guys, you know what time it is. And Jacob, if you haven't know that we love snacks here in Boss Rush Games. So it is time for Snacktindo. So we're going to actually start with you, Jacob. What have you been snacking on? What has been your Snacktindo?
Oh man, so I just got back from dinner with my family. We every Monday night since I was born, we've had spaghetti. So that's kind of where we were at. I was eating a big old plate of spaghetti. Other than that, like actual snacks, I've been really obsessed with they're Slim Jims yeah, the little meat sticks for some reason. The gas station that I stop at on my way to work to pick up like an energy drink or whatever has these deals where it's like the little tiny sticks, 3 of them for $1, and I've just been like picking up 3 of those every time I stop and snacking on them whenever I get hungry.
Nice. Daniel, what has been in your Snacktindo?
I'm slogging away on the pumpkin cheesecake my girlfriend made on Thanksgiving. So tonight is going to be the ceremonious last slice, and I'm very sad it's gone.
Did she use graham cracker for the pie, for the crust?
I don't know how she made the crust. I back away when that stuff is going on, and I just enjoy the product, you know? I don't look into how games are developed. I just play them. Same thing.
It's true. I've never had pumpkin cheesecake, and now I want to try it.
Oh, man, you got to have it. Next year for Thanksgiving, you'll come over, all right?
Yes. David, what have you been snacking on?
This is going to make me sound really old, but when I was a kid, I used to love these, and I found them recently. They're cinnamon toast rice cakes. Like, it reminds me of being a kid, and I've been like snacking on them, and I love them. And then I've also been finishing up the homemade apple pie. So,
oh, nice. How's your lattice work on it?
You know, wife made it. She did a great job. I can't take any credit for it. So
I'm always impressed by good lattice work.
yeah.
Nice. Well, for me, the McRib is back, so I treated myself some McRib at McDonald's, and they put so much barbecue sauce, like the thing was sliding out the bun. I was just like, good googly woogly. I had a Jack's Link's teriyaki beef one, Jacob.
Yes,
So
excellent.
that was so good. I got the Reese's peanut butter cup with pretzels in it, but I haven't eaten it. It's still at work. And then I had a mango monster like at 3 a.m. this morning while playing Switch. And I just it was so good, you know. But everybody, that has been our snack Tendo. Anything else you guys had is snacking on or you looking forward to? I did try the Kit Kat. Oh, I think I talked about it last week. The Kit Kat mocha and chocolate that has this coffee taste is really good with it. I did try the Snickers fudge brownie, like I said, and I didn't like it. It's okay, but I was just like, this could have been better. But and the strawberry milk that I had, Fairlife, that I had was really good too. So, but I gotta soon give up all the good sweets because I'm asking my sister for Christmas to get me a Ring Fit.
Oh, sweet.
So
Fun.
I'm going to have to cut a lot of food out. I don't want to, but I might have to. But everybody, that has been our snack tender. We're going to get into our Game Effect events, and you guys might like this one. This kind of is part of my Twitter handle of at that retro code. I'm going to be talking about the Konami code. The Konami code is a special combination of buttons that appear in several Konami games. It was widely popularized due to its inclusion in the NES home version of Contra 1988, where it allowed the player to obtain 30 free lives. Since then, the code has become part of the popular culture in general, even appearing in many non-Konami games and diverse media, such as clothing, advertisement, and non-gaming related software. And this is some history. The code was first used in the 1986 release of Gradius for the Nintendo Entertainment System, but was popularized among North American players in the NES version of Contra, for which it was also dubbed both the Contra code and 30 Lives code because of its nearly necessary use in the game. The Konami code was created by Kazuhisa Hashimoto, who was developing the home port of the 1985 arcade game Gradius, a horizontal scrolling shooter released on the NES in 1986. Finding the game too difficult to play during tests, he created a cheat code to give the players a full set of power-ups, normally obtained gradually throughout the game. The code was still present in the release version after Hashimoto forgot to remove it. Players discovered and shared the code. The Konami code was thus included in the series' other sequels and spin-offs. And of course, everybody know up, up, down, down, left, right, BA. And if you're doing 2 players, select start. I believe he did pass away, Kazuhisa Hashimoto. And people put on his tombstone the Konami code. So yeah, that is some game fact events that you guys could take. So next time you guys play Contra on the Contra Collection on your Switch, PlayStation, or your Xbox One, or even PC, you could thank him for putting that code in the game. But we're going to get into our Femi News. Tales series is celebrating 25 years, and on December 15th, they are broadcasting. Now, I've become known with the Tales series because of Tales of Symphonia for GameCube. And we know that Tales of Arise is supposed to be coming to PlayStation and Xbox. Have you guys tried any of the Tales games or anything?
Surprisingly, no. For being such an RPG lover, it's one of those series that I've really wanted to give a try, and I just never have.
It may be on PlayStation 4 for PSN. You could check it out. What about you,
Yeah,
Jake?
I think they have Tales of Vesperia.
Asperia.
or Tales of F or something like that. One of those is on there.
Jacob, did you try Tales of Symphonia?
I played Tales of Symphonia, and funnily enough, I actually didn't get super into it. But back then, I had friends coming over and spend the night. I've got a good friend, Dan, who loves the Tales series and still plays Tales of Symphonia like every year. But other than that, no, I haven't really played any of the Tales stuff. I do want to see Lloyd in Smash though. That would be super cool.
They got his costume in there. I think
I know.
for me.
But that doesn't mean they can't bring him in.
Everybody's been complaining there's too many sword fighters.
What's one more then?
Yes, Dan is. Him and Cloud are like best friends.
Oh yeah, me and Cloud are boys on Smash Brothers.
Because Samus Aran is my main, Ryu is my second, and so I literally tried to be him, get him in the air, and no, it wasn't working. So, what about you, David? Have you tried the Tales of Symphonia or the Tales series?
No, I haven't. I wish I have. I had. My brain's still back on the Konami code, though. I'm thinking about how many times I died on Contra growing up, and how I wish I had known that.
I have a Twitch stream, and I think I downloaded it. It may still be on there. I gotta see. I actually can get through Contra without using the code one player.
Oh my god, I would love to see that.
Can I ask a question about the Konami code real quick? Have y'all seen? So it is up, down, down, left, right, BA, or select start. Have y'all seen it improperly represented as up, down, left, right? Does that ring a bell to any of y'all? Because I feel like my brain is arguing between it being up, down, or up, down. Because I feel like it's been both.
So it hasn't been both, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game for NES, used almost that code, but didn't. Because you gotta press up, B, down, A, left, right, start, something like that. They ended up changing it for Turtles, because it gave you 9 lives for the arcade game on NES.
Okay.
I hate to like kids these days, but kids these days don't know how cruel video games can be. Right? Those two games. Oh my goodness.
I do love when people say kids these days. And the fact that I can relate to it.
Yeah, I think of kids and even some adults who play retro games like the NES Online. If you go back and try to play those games, you still have that muscle memory, or B, it's harder than Bloodborne. Like
I have this little thing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
My muscle memory is still there for playing Super Mario Brothers on it, and I'm like, incredible. For the people listening, it's a little Game & Watch that they released a little while ago.
Oh my god!
But I kind of just use it as a clock now.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
For my desk.
I haven't seen one of those in the wild yet, man. I want one so bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're out there. I went and bought it day one at GameStop.
I remember actually playing all 32 levels because I would do the code, I would do the cheat, but I actually beaten that game full out with just Mario, and I didn't do the turtle trick or nothing, just I beat it. And then Mario Brothers 2, the Lost Levels. Oh gosh,
that is a hard game.
It is hard.
It's
super hard.
It's so bad. It's just a bad game. It's such a troll game. Like I hate troll levels in Mario Maker, and then there's just Mario 2. That's a whole troll game.
I still think Ghouls and Ghosts is the hardest video game ever. Like,
yep. Oh yeah.
That I would say this game called Dungeon Masters, but I don't think all the people who play Neo and Bloodborne, I don't think they'll make it past the first level of Ghosts and Goblins. Like that game is challenging, with Bloodborne and stuff. It's just like you still have a safety net. You don't have none in Ghosts and Goblins. Like you got to play that game all the way through and then replay it all the way through to beat it. And it's just too much. My life just cannot do it. Now, Mega Man, I could get through with ease. Mega Man don't take me no time. Besides Flash Man, him. We're gonna move on to the next story because Persona 5 Striker was leaked and there's more news to come. So they showed the trailer that Persona 5 Striker is coming out to Switch and PlayStation on February 23rd. This is another Hyrule Warriors or a kind of a Warriors game with Sega Atlas and Koei Tecmo. What did you guys think? Were you guys planning to get this game? We know Joker is in Smash, but we still don't have Persona 5 for Switch. But are you guys planning to get this game? And do you guys think that Hyrule Warriors was enough for you?
Is Persona 5 Strikers what kind of game is this? I actually don't know about it.
It's like Warriors, it's like Hyrule Warriors. So
yeah.
It's like that kind of game. You are in a kind of arena thing and you got to go different places, but you got to beat up all of these enemies. So it's like that, and then there's some kind of story attached to it.
Yeah, I've never played a Persona game, so I'll pass on this one.
Because you're not a warrior style fan, right? I mean, that's not.
Yeah, well, Age of Calamity is my first warrior style game, and like I don't dislike it, but I'm not loving it either.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. David, would you play Persona?
My only experience is just with Joker on Smash. So I mean, I have friends that just love it, and at some point when I get through my backlog of games, I would be open to trying it out. I like warrior style games, so.
Okay, and I don't know if they're doing a demo or anything, but like I said, more details to come. What about you, Jacob? Have you?
I love Atlas. I can't bring myself to buy, especially a warrior style game, without having ever played the game that the characters are brought out of. Persona 5, it needs to come to Switch so bad in order for me to want to be even interested in this game.
Like everybody, like I would take Persona 5 Royal for it. Like just give me the update version. Like I will rebuy everybody. We bought Dragon Quest 11 for 12. Is it 12? No, 11. For Switch, and which everybody, when you watch this, they have dropped the price of $49.99, so you could get that and the Dragon Quest 2. Yeah, for $49.99. Is it just digitally or is it physical too?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because I made up a dip in that. I'm probably gonna end up getting this one because I played Persona on PlayStation, and I beat 3. I'm still working through 4, and I have 5, but I haven't beaten it. But I kind of want to see where this one goes. So before we get into our last story, we want to talk a little bit about the Game Awards. Because Dan, you mentioned what are our predictions for Nintendo for the Game Awards?
Yeah, I was just the Game Awards, I know last year Nintendo was a little bit of a no-show, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about if you think Nintendo is going to have any sort of big announcements out there or anything. For me personally, I don't think Nintendo's going to announce anything huge like the Switch Pro that I believe is coming out in March or April, which we'll segue into. But I do think we will get maybe a couple of smaller games. I have read out there that there's a 2D Metroid that has been completed in development. I think we could see an announcement for that and hopefully even a Christmas release. At this rate, it looks like we're going to get a Smash reveal every 3 months until Fighters Pass 2 is over. That's also something I would expect to see, especially since Joker was 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So those are my 2 predictions for Nintendo coming into this.
What about you, Jacob?
I could see a Smash Brothers reveal easily. I really think that they're just going to go in with a trailer. What it's for, maybe Breath of the Wild 2, maybe Metroid. Like finally get some more info on Metroid Prime 4. But I just don't. They've been so quiet the rest of the year for everything. I don't see them suddenly changing their tune for the Game Awards.
All right. What about you, David?
Well, I just think Nintendo is so good at doing things we don't expect. And so, just expect to, favor their directs for new information. They change things up. I still go back to that Breath of the Wild release that just stunned everybody, right? So, I could see something happening here. Honestly, what I'm hoping for / think might actually happen is an announcement that Samus is coming to Fortnite. The season theme is bounty hunters, and there's been a lot of surprise characters and characters from other video game universes. So I could see a thing where Nintendo users, have the option of getting that skin. So that's one thing I'm looking for. I also do think we could get some Zelda related news. My thinking though is it would be an announcement of DLC for Age of Calamity, since the DLC came out about 30 days after the last Hyrule Warriors. So we're thereabouts for the Game Awards. I could see an announcement of DLC for Age of Calamity.
What kind of DLC would it be? Like extra characters or?
Yeah, well, without getting to any spoilers, the game was data mined, and they found 4 unused voice files for very specific characters. So it seems like we might get some playable characters and a backstory for those playable characters as DLC.
I have to beat it.
Would it be too spoilery to talk about characters that aren't currently playable but are in the game?
I mean, it might, because there's some, as you know, there's some surprise playable characters, and
yes.
I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, I'll take out my headphones if you guys want to talk about it.
A spoiler warning to the audience.
Well,
Your call.
We're gonna save it. We're gonna say that one.
Okay.
We're gonna save it. Yeah. For me, I think we'll probably get a reveal for Bayonetta 3. I think we'll get some more info for No More Heroes 3. We'll probably get something. Maybe a chance for ARMS 2. Nintendo might be bringing that back to show everybody. I know they've been working with Bandai Namco and Koei Tecmo, but I wonder if they've been working with Konami, and if Konami is going to put something on Switch. And if so, can Nintendo and Konami do Eternal Darkness or Silent Hill? Because we got Scale Attack like out of the blue from Konami, so it wouldn't be difficult for Nintendo to dip their hands in to be like, let's play around with Silent Hill and let's give it this Eternal Darkness kind of feel to it and stuff, where we really make it scary, we really make it like, horror feel and stuff. And they might throw in a little trick where you might see a painting of Dr. Egad or from Luigi's Mansion and stuff. Like, I think Konami has something up their sleeve, because I feel like they don't want to work with Sony because of Kojima being there. I think Konami would rather work with Nintendo, because we might even get like another Bomberman game. And I think Konami is probably smart to be like, let's work with Nintendo and see where we go, because they have made us money. We kind of got a little bit of our reputation back working with putting our stuff on Nintendo, so we may be able to continue that going on. So I kind of would see that, and maybe EA may show something for Switch. Then
Space.
I really hope that they show that Mass Effect for Switch.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before, and I think Mass Effect will come to the new Switch, which again we'll get into, but um, I don't think they want to announce it for the current hardware that it's on. That's it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get
with Silent Hill. You got my hopes up.
because I think it's time for Silent Hill to come back, and I think they need to have it on a Nintendo platform. Konami is not going to put it on Microsoft because Microsoft it's not doing well that I know of. And this is an assumption, they're not doing well in Japan at this time, and because of Kojima, I think they would be like, we have more success with Bomberman on Switch and with Skull Attack than on any other platform. Of course, that Metal Gear Survivor didn't do well for them, and Metal Gear 5 did something, but that caused a lot of problems. I think they would be smart to do a Silent Hill on Switch, and I think that would bring more of the survival horror fans and the community to Nintendo. So if they want to play Silent Hill, it's exclusively for Nintendo.
Mm.
Silent Hill is the series that always does like a wacky ending along with other endings, right?
Yes.
I want to see them put Luigi from Luigi's Mansion as a playable character, like an unlockable character.
I wonder if Square Enix will, of course, Bravely Default 2, but I wonder if they would.
So excited.
I wonder would they remake Parasite Eve for Switch?
Parasite Eve, like Third Birthday. Oh my god, I haven't played. That was on the PSP and then the PlayStation 2, right?
No, the original was PlayStation. It was this like shooter RPG hybrid. It was a blast. That game was so good. That was Square, right?
That was Square. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and like if they remade it and put it on Switch, I don't know. I don't know what the response would be because
they would get my money.
What do you think the chances are of a Bravely Default and Bravely Second remake on the Bravely Default 2 engine?
I think that's Bravely Second. I think they would drop that unexpectedly at the Game Awards. Like you could buy it right now.
Okay.
Oh, that's
because it's
I like that. I like that. It's kind of like what they did with No More Heroes.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's a 3DS game, and so they probably been working on it. Why not bring it? And probably if they want to bring the first one, I say do it as a 2-pack for $50.
I'd buy that right away.
Same.
So, look, I want my Link Between Worlds on Switch already.
Oh,
man.
Yes.
Dan's got to try that.
So
we were talking about that the other day, right? You got to find yourself a 3DS so you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've never played a handheld Zelda game.
Oh my gosh! What?
Yeah.
What?
I know, I'm a total heathen.
No, not a heathen. There's so much fun to be had.
I know, and I just haven't done it yet. I will eventually.
We're going to get into 2 more stories because a modder has kind of taken the cast from Age of Calamity and put it in Breath of the Wild on PC. And it looks beautiful. It looks nice. I was just like, how did he do this? Like, it's really big. It's really clean. And I'm just like, wow. But what did you guys think when you saw the video?
I thought it was pretty cool. I'd love to see when fans can mod these things so well. And I mean, that one in particular looked really, really good, right? I don't know. I just think it's super cool. I don't have the talent to do that kind of thing. So when I see it happen, I'm pretty impressed.
What about you, David?
I mean, I thought it was great. I mean, we knew once we got to see the inside of Hyrule Castle in Age of Calamity that it was just a countdown until somebody did that. Because that was one of the big things that I think people that play Breath of the Wild wanted, was to see that castle in its kind of restored glory. And there was a few rooms like the Great Hall that you never quite have access to in Breath of the Wild because they're blocked off. And so to get to go and explore those, I mean, it just really made you want to see it, in its entirety without monsters, being able to explore. And one of the things that I really like in the mod is that, you can kind of spar with some of the guards, the royal guards standing out there, who have their, appropriate weapons and attire, and they kind of respond to you the same way like the Gerudo guards do in the regular Breath of the Wild. And it was just really well done. I'm sure Nintendo will put the band hammer on it soon, but it's great.
But you know what? They really haven't did anything, and we got a story that's going to be connected to this. They really haven't did anything. I think it's where, if people are trying to sell it or they're trying to do something with it, I think that's when Nintendo gets in. But they really haven't said anything that I know of. So, what about you, Jacob? When you seen it, what's your thoughts?
So I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate here. The work that he did was beautiful. The work that user that modder did was amazing. I really prefer to see Nintendo do stuff with it. I want to see crowded halls. I want to see like Majora's Mask style pathing of people that you can follow and be like, oh, this guy always goes to the Rose Garden to do this, and seeing it as an empty castle was a little disheartening, but still awesome and just like beautiful to see rebuilt, to see the work that he put into it. But at the same time, I very much want to see that for the first time when Nintendo's ready to show it to us, because I fully believe in Breath of the Wild 2 they are going to show it to us.
I would like to see it in 1440p. See that in like high def, and just because someone did a 4K version of Breath of the Wild, and just with the ray tracing and stuff, and it looks beautiful. And I would love to see Nintendo's touch on the castle, and having it on the Switch Pro, and just be like, like it's just like angels are singing out, and just seeing that art style and what they would create for it, I'd be like, man, this is crazy beautiful. Which kind of leads to another modder who is once again having people cry foul to Nintendo. There was a custom-made Etika Joy-Con which raised $10,000 for charity, but it fell foul of copyright claims, creators reveals. Last year, popular YouTube Desmond Etika Emafa tragically took his own life. So artist and content creator Captain Alex, who produces a wide range of customized shell and other items related to Nintendo, decided to produce the Etikon to raise money for a JED Foundation, a mental health and suicide prevention charity. While an initial crowdfunding campaign to create the controllers was unsuccessful, Captain Alex ran a second, smaller campaign, the campaign raised $10,000 for the charity, but Captain Alex has recently confirmed that following a cease and desist from Nintendo issued at the end of September, he had to stop selling the special controllers. The issue wasn't that Alex was selling modified controllers. It was related to the fact that the devices used the Joy-Con name, which is Nintendo's copyright. Nintendo didn't shut down my business completely, Captain Alex told fans on Twitter. They just had me remove some designs, and I'm modifying most of them. Controller modification isn't the issue. Use of copyright is. So, those would be back in. Seeing this trend on Twitter, we actually been talking about people using Nintendo's IPs, and me, LaRon, and Dan was talking this morning. And thank you, Dan, for dropping Nintendo's code of conduct. So people who are thinking of using their property, Nintendo has a statement showing things that you need to follow about their products being out when you purchase them.
Yeah, and those are all real, just standard business practices that Nintendo has on that. And I know people are upset about it because Etika was, such an important part of the gaming community, and he really brought just this joy to people. It's so sad that tragic ending, but at this, so if you look at it from both angles, like, how is anybody still surprised that a company would try to stop someone from openly selling a modded version of their product? I mean, that's, in my mind, that's common sense. No matter what you're doing it for, you don't take somebody's product, you don't buy a Mac, slap some stickers on it, and then go and sell it as, a Mac with stickers, right? So in that sense, it's like, okay, you could have been a little bit smarter about it, but if Nintendo sees something like this, there's a different way to reach out about it, right? Ask them how you can help. Like, ask them how there's like a copyright way to do this and how to do it right, because this is so important to people, and people should be able to have, like, enjoy this. It's not really harming anybody, and clearly it's very much helping with a charity towards suicide prevention. So it's like, you see why Nintendo does it, because it's very obvious that you shouldn't be selling their products as your own. But at the same time, Nintendo, come on, be human.
But it feels like Nintendo, when he said that they didn't like take my company down or anything. It just feels like you can't be doing this with our names on it or with our designs on it, because if your Joy-Con drift happens, they can't ship it back to fix.
Right.
You already broke the warranty because you're taking this in and putting something else that we don't make. So we're getting 15,000 Joy-Cons with this thing on it, that a product that we didn't make. It becomes a problem. Nintendo can't fix it. You can't even pay them to fix it. They're going to send it back to be like, you broke your warranty. Now, if Nintendo does decide to fix it, you're going to be paying some money for that to get it fixed. And they're not, they appreciate what, I think Nintendo appreciates what they're trying to do with it. But if you just took stuff that's not connected to the company and you sold it, I think Nintendo is fine with it.
Right, and that's what we were talking about in our discussion today, the three of us with Laurent. And it's like, if they made a wrap for the Joy-Cons and just sold it as Etika wraps and didn't use the word Joy-Con, didn't use the word Nintendo, didn't associate it with it, that's one thing, and that's how you can do this, right? But you don't take the whole Joy-Con and sell it as a Joy-Con. Again, that is common business practice. This isn't, Nintendo versus the world. Like, literally every company would do this.
Right. David, were you going to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was my question too, and I was like, am I just being stupid here, or why couldn't they just sell the stickers, right? Like, why? But I guess maybe their thinking was it would raise more money by selling a complete modded Joy-Con, right? Like maybe it would bring in more money per sale or whatever for the charity. But I don't know. I mean, it seems like that everybody should have seen that coming.
Yeah, and I think they did the actual Joy-Con because they painted on it and made it like almost like custom,
Right.
And Jacob, go ahead. Any thoughts on this?
Just to echo what y'all are saying, is it sucks because you want the company that you love to be human and to have like a heart and be kind about it. There's like Dan said, there's a ton of different ways that they could go do it properly. But at the end of the day, not even counting like all the stuff of like what anyone who does this sort of thing could come out as something that's like just bad about them, and therefore now is whether they meant to or not, is now a bad look to the Nintendo, the company. Mm-hmm. They can't even guarantee if you send in your own Joy-Con that you get the same color back. So if you send in a pair of custom Joy-Cons, they're not going to fix it because they will not send you that same thing back. It's just not going to happen. And that becomes a whole nother problem of, well, I sent in this super special, cost me X amount of money Joy-Cons that I bought for a charity, for whatever. And then for them to just go, nope, sorry, we trashed it because it wasn't our product. So Like that's never going to look good on them. So they had to go the route that they chose. Could they have done it nicer? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, they are a company and they have to run a company. Otherwise, we get nothing.
And capitalism has existed in video games for 30 years. Where have you been?
Yeah, right.
Unbelievable. You don't understand what's happening here.
And it's not even video games, because like if somebody modified Starbucks cups and sold them, Starbucks would send a cease and desist. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
And it's like the same thing with the Big House situation, where they're using a modded version of a game, and people are screaming bloody murder over this on the internet. Now, outside of Twitter, nobody actually knows about this.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Nintendo really doesn't care that much. But it's like, it is a modded version of their product. Like, it's not what they sell. And now it's just being broadcasted to the world.
And go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Jacob.
Well, I was just going to say because I listened to y'all's last week's episode and talked about that. That is actually worse than the Joy-Con issue, because the Joy-Con issue, Nintendo still makes money off of the person who bought the Joy-Cons to customize them. If you have an old game that Nintendo doesn't sell anymore and you make it better than the games that they're currently selling, you are now stealing profits from them, whether you mean to or not. And that's the problem, is they won't sell Ultimate because someone has Melee. They're going to play on Melee online.
And it's because that community wants to stay with that game where all of us has moved on.
I don't understand that.
Well, this is the thing I don't understand. If people have such a viewpoint, and these people are mad at Nintendo and crying foul, and they're never going to buy the product, why are you not modding anything Microsoft's or Sony's? Where's the God of War Melee game? Where is the Uncharted Gears of War? Like, where is all of this stuff for two systems that are bigger than Nintendo in some people's eyes? Why are you not modding and selling their stuff and doing illegal things to it? Why is it always Nintendo?
I think it just goes to show like how much of an impact Nintendo and their fans have had on, like Etika, it made such an impact on people. Like, they make such quality IPs that people stick to them. Now, I, for one, will never understand in my life the obsession with Smash Melee. I didn't even like it that much when it came out. So, like, this one's just way over my head. But, I mean, it just seems to be a thing with Nintendo because it's so unique. And, I mean, everything in the PlayStation era, like, we talk about it nostalgic, but we've moved on. We were talking about Parasite Eve. And we've moved on from that. So I don't know. It's just kind of it's unique to Nintendo for sure, Ed.
What did you guys think that Nintendo's first party IPs are powerful than anybody else's in the gaming industry?
Absolutely,
without a doubt.
It's not even close.
Like, maybe God of War and Halo have that recognition, but if you're like, okay, God of War, Halo, great. Nintendo goes Zelda, Mario, Pokemon, Metroid. Like, that's right. The list goes on and on and on.
Well, it's so weird because just like, even when we look at the Game Awards, like Animal Crossing is like in all of these nominations, and it's going against the Last of Us, even though that came and went. Animal Crossing is still being talked about. It's still being like 16 million. Like, that's crazy. Or it's more.
Oh yeah, it's 23.
When did they jump up to 23?
In their quarterly report that they released back in October.
It's probably more now too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's at like 26.
That 26. Oh wow. Yeah, I think it's. I'm
gonna pull up the reports. Give me just a second.
I'll
give you an exact number.
I'll vamp while you do that. Have any of y'all seen the tweet? I don't know. I don't remember who it's from, so I apologize. But somebody talking about how it's going to be so funny to see all these like huge cinematic games, and then they have to throw in clips of Animal Crossing as well.
Yeah, it's weird because I still feel like Nintendo had a strong year, and they the ones that have most games out that people were talking about and picking up. Last of Us, I'm not trying to knock that game or anything. Last of Us 2 sold because of controversy, and it was more of I'm a prove to you that your spoilers and leaks is not going to ruin the experience for me. So I'm gonna buy the game where everybody was just like, you know, being a certain way to the actors and everything and about this game. So it caused that kind of controversy to sell what 4 million copies, 4 million plus at the time. Um, it's just so weird to see that, and if it, yeah, and even if you know that Nintendo don't play around with their IP, why do people still want to play around with their IP?
Right.
You know, don't get me wrong. I love the custom made Zelda bikes that people been making. I love the custom made houses from Breath of the Wild. I love when people make this custom stuff that they create and they're keeping, that they're not selling. Nintendo says nothing about that. If you want to have a Zelda bike and this mug, Nintendo's just like, go ahead and do it as long as you don't sell it. You know.
Yeah.
So
Okay, we're up to 26 million on Animal Crossing New Horizons.
What's
that's-
Mario Kart at?
Mario Kart is at 28.
So it's almost sold as much as Mario Kart 8 in 9 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that is insane.
Animal Crossing will be their first 30 million on the Switch.
yeah, and it's gonna be weird that because I feel like it's not gonna win Game of the Year. Feel like The Last of Us is gonna win it, but it's going to be. It's there was a tweet out there that they was just like, the people who made Hades Supergiant, that they were happy to make this game and everything. And then someone from Naughty Dog was just like, if you are one of us, vote for the people and everything. Like, we're the best, so vote for us, don't vote for anybody. And it was just like, the tone right now with you guys is just not right. you know.
I'm rooting
But-
for Animal Crossing though. I think it made such a big impact on people's lives this year that it's a game that deserves that recognition. And if you sold 26 million units in 9 months,
Yeah.
how the hell do you lose?
Yeah.
We're gonna get into our doc mode, but it's good that you mentioned that, Dan, because it feels like with the Switch, a lot of their games has really changed the industry and how we play games and what we think. Like, climbing has been a functionality in games for years, and once it came to Breath of the Wild, everybody was just like, I want to climb like Link in this game. I want to climb and move anywhere that I want to. Like, wait, you was able to do this in other games. Why is it now with Breath of the Wild that y'all took it?
I think Assassin's Creed is the best example of that because Assassin's Creed taught gamers during the 360 era, Xbox 360 era, of like, hey, you can climb this because there's a white line. There's the thing that we use to indicate that you can climb, you're good. And then Breath of the Wild came out, and then I think it's Valhalla's the newest Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And that one you can climb everywhere, right? Isn't that the thing? Am I
think
wrong?
so.
I don't know. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is. From what I've heard, I think that's the case, is that they went that route where you can climb anything. And so it's interesting to see that like flip back into it.
Yes. So speaking of Nintendo games, let's get into our doc mode because I'm so excited for this topic that's at hand. So I'm running with Dan on this one. So I presented that we was gonna do something else with this question, but I took part of it out and I just decided. So Switch Pro gets announced. It has all the technology of an Xbox One X, little bit powerful, and their online is revised, so it works to the way that people, I guess, has a vision on where want to work. You get online chat through the system, message friends, and do all of that stuff. Now that we have this power, what games need to come to Nintendo Switch?
Well, I think the most obvious one is they need to re-release Breath of the Wild, right? Like, just like some of the other systems have their like Nintendo Classics edition or whatever that comes out again. I mean, how do you not have a fully souped up Breath of the Wild? I mean, that to me is a no-brainer.
And include the DLC.
Does
Yeah.
that does that come as a re-release, like a re-release that everyone has to buy, or does that come as like a, hey, if you've already bought it, yours is getting souped up if you buy this new console? Like, because I imagine they'd have backwards compatibility, right, with whatever the Nintendo Switch regular games are, like they did with the new 3DS.
You may have to rebuy the game. I'll say that it'll have a patch that it upgrades to it. But if it's the original one and you haven't bought the DLC, let's say they make the DLC only $10.
Okay.
If you are playing the old original one, you spend $10, and you get the full collection. So you already got the free upgrade for the main game, but then you got a good deal with the Switch, with the DX version of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. They could slap an $80 price tag on it and tell me it's a better Breath of the Wild, and I'd still buy it. But I wanted to bring that up.
So Dan, you probably think of Mass Effect.
Yeah, so I mean, I am thinking of Mass Effect. As a big picture, I think. So the new Switch with the updated hardware, it's definitely not going to be a portable system, right? If you have this kind of hardware, you can't play this on a screen that you can bring on an airplane or bring on a subway. So this is just, in my prediction, it's just going to be a at-home console. Mm-hmm. And the fact that, Jacob had mentioned earlier in the show, Nintendo's been awfully quiet on their IPs. We haven't seen a lot of IPs in 2020, aside from Animal Crossing. Otherwise, it's been ports and Age of Calamity, which isn't really, a mainline game. So, you mentioned, Ed, that you want to see Bayonetta 3 get announced at the Game Awards, but Bayonetta 3, I'm telling you, that game is going to be unbelievable if we have the same hardware as like Xbox Series. So, when it comes to Nintendo IPs, Breath of the Wild 2 would be incredible on there.
Oh, yes.
Bayonetta 3, even Mario Kart 9 is going to be phenomenal because we know that has to come at some point, right? People say, hey, Mario Kart 8 is still selling like crazy, but I guarantee you 90% of the people who own Mario Kart 8 are going to buy Mario Kart 9. I sure as hell will. And I don't even play Mario Kart that much. But yeah, go ahead.
Metroid Prime 4 is already crazy with all the people that they got in from all these different studios.
And that new studio they're building for it.
Yes.
For retro.
Think of all the people who have worked on Xbox and PlayStation, who have worked on that hardware, working on Switch Pro, and they just they surpass the look of Metroid. I can't even imagine what Metroid Prime 4 is. To see that mug running on Switch Pro on Unreal Engine 5 with the artwork and the design and the gameplay, I would just be like, I might not even need a PlayStation 5 or Series X for a while if that happens.
Well, that's the thing too, because I play all my sports games on PlayStation, right? Mm-hmm. If this is good enough to handle something like Madden or 2K, I don't have another reason to buy another system at this point if I can play Madden on Switch with my friends cross-platform.
It's interesting that you say that, and I feel like Nintendo obviously knew about this release for PS5 and the new Xbox. Mm-hmm. They're already dominating the market anyway because of the portable ability of the Switch. If they also then plan to come out with a souped up Switch in the spring, I mean, that feels like the kill shot, right? I mean, it feels like they're coming in and just staking their claim. And I think that they can do it. I really do.
Yeah, and for me personally, like the Switch is really, I just love this thing with how accessible it is because I travel all the time for work. Mm-hmm. And at the same time too, I like somebody else can watch TV and I can bring my Switch into another room and play it, so this accessibility has brought in so many more people to the Switch and to Nintendo. And obviously this year it's absolutely killed it with sales with the lack of current, with the lack of IPs. And like David said, like if this Switch Pro has this hardware, this is bringing in all the people who don't like the lower hardware, the lower graphics, and that brings in an entire different crowd, which in turn, Ed, brings in Mass Effect, brings in EA, brings in all these other games that want to be part of the sales, right?
Because I feel like you got no excuse saying that the system don't got power and it don't got a big fan base. We're 70-some million fans that own the system. We will become more if you put your stuff on Switch Pro. And you will see a jump of your sale of your games on this particular system than anyone else. Because I want Titanfall 2 to come to Switch Pro. I want that game to come hard and be like, if y'all missed it on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, you guys have a time to redeem yourself to play this game. Give me Mass Effect Andromeda if you want to, EA. I'll take it. Give me Grand Theft Auto. Well, don't give me Grand Theft Auto. I'll take Red Dead 2 over Grand Theft Auto. But yeah, I do, just to see what if. So Twilight Princess, a 1440p version of Twilight Princess.
35th anniversary.
Man, and Twilight Princess is already such a gorgeous game.
But would they do a Twilight Princess up-res and not the obvious Ocarina of Time up-res?
They're gonna all-star it, just like
they're gonna all-star it.
But I'm serious. Could you imagine?
I believe it.
Their releases with the souped up Switch is here's this Zelda 35 with Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, and throw something else in there, Wind Waker. I mean,
yeah.
I think I would just be like David and Dan, Celeste, and Jacob, Corey, Boss Rush, save me. You'll just literally see me on the ground to be like, I can't. Man, to think about this kind of system in the market and having all of these big name games from 2K, from Activision, maybe we could get a Call of Duty if they want to, but really see a lot of Japanese gamers take advantage of this. Man, it would be crazy. And then we still got indies who would still make an impact on the system.
Yeah, and I mean the current Switch is an indie machine. I absolutely love it. I love to see that Nintendo promotes them, and I wouldn't have played most of these games if it wasn't for the Switch. I've fallen in love with Celeste, Evergate, Hollow Knight, Kunai, so many good games, and I hope that's a trend that continues for the Switch Pro. But you never know with hardware and on the TV console. But what I wanted to ask you guys, I mean, all this limited release, everything ending on March 31st, what do you think of that? Where are we going with that? What is Nintendo doing?
So I think Nintendo is getting ready to announce new Mario games. And so you have a time to, what's going to happen is that, yes, the digital stuff is going to be taken off, but they're not going to be calling for their stock back to put in their inventory. I think it's going to be that's it. Anybody who wants the game now, you need to go out and get it physically. If they're out of the stores are out of it, that's it. We're not making no more. That's all. I think because the thing about it is that everybody has had enough time, a 6-month window time to buy this game. You have time to, get this game. We're not going to keep it on the shelves just to take room up, because don't forget, Nintendo is paying stores for that room for their games to be there. So if nothing is moving there, they're not going to try to be wasting their money to keep Super Mario Galaxy 3D for another year or so until all the shipment is gone. So it's just going to be we're taking it off. You had enough time to do it. You had 6 months. to get this game, that's enough time. We didn't give you like 2 weeks or anything. We gave you 6 months to get this game. And now we're going to announce Mario Odyssey 2. We're going to announce Mario Rabbids 2. We're going to be doing this game. We're going to be doing that game. Mario Maker 3. Like, they're going to go out of their way and really celebrate Mario in a better fashion, you know.
I mean, I don't see that happening because they take away sales from themselves. And I mean, we all know Nintendo is a company that's not going to shoot themselves in the foot when it comes to losing money, right?
Mhm.
This is a total speculation, but I think that we're going to see some sort of online subscription with even GameCube and Wii games, where you can kind of buy them individually. So it makes sense to break down 3D All Stars, sell it as a package, and then when that comes out, you can just buy Mario 64 for $7.99 on this new subscription, because with the new update, they bring Nintendo Switch Online to your main drag right on the bottom. So, I think we might be looking at a new kind of subscription-based format for this, and even the Fire Emblem game that just came out, that's also that. And can't you see that on some sort of subscription like this? So they might make their whole inventory accessible for
the Netflix
users.
route.
Well, if Nintendo lose any money, it's only going to be digital sales. They'll make their money by physical because it's getting close to where they're not shipping it or selling it. People are going to run out to get copies because people are going to try to get these copies to flip them to make money.
They make their money on digital. It's right there for you 24/7. You can wake up and get a snack in the middle of the night if I buy 3D All Stars. Like, they're not taking that away from anybody.
And it doesn't lose them a dime because it's
But
all
see,
on their system.
the thing about it is just like Nintendo's not worried that Nintendo's not getting double money. They're only still getting one person the money because they're still getting revenue. So you're going to buy our physical.
They had to only buy physical.
Huh?
It would drive people away if they only had to buy physical.
They won't have no choice but to buy physical.
Then they want to buy it.
I wouldn't buy it. So I'm an all digital person. I do not buy physical games. The only physical games that I have are Ring Fit, and then I bought Atlas, the Star Fox game. That wasn't actually Star Fox because I wanted the toys, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge nerd. Other than that, I will not buy a game if I have to buy it physical, because something in my brain is like, but it's not like all my other games. All my other games are digital. Why do I have this little stick that I have to put into? And it's so frustrating to get up and.
And that's why I said the time, like they months. It's not like you can't go out and buy it. Why would you wait till the thing discontinue after they told you when it's going to be discontinued to be mad about them? You have a chance to get up, get an Uber, get in the car, ride a bike, get on a broomstick and fly in the air. I don't care on how you're going to get this game. If you have to finance money to get this game before it's discontinued, go ahead and do it. You cannot be mad at Nintendo when they gave you a good opportunity to take it, to buy their game.
Like, what do they got to lose from just having a larger game library available for people that want it? I mean, there's all kinds of old games that I'm just discovering and wanting to go back and buy. I was buying stuff on my 3DS and Wii U just the other day. Why not continue to allow those to be available? I don't understand.
I think because no one is using that service, and Nintendo still somewhat paying for it. I don't know the financial reasons for that. I think it's just like, well, since we're not really doing anything for this console or for this handheld, we already discontinued selling it and stuff, so we don't need to support it because we got this current that we need to support. Sony and Microsoft did it. They weren't supporting the 360 when Xbox One came out, and Sony didn't do it with PlayStation 3 after PS4 came out. I mean, there were some games that came out that they supported, but they weren't sending updates, and they weren't making that game specifically for those older consoles. So Nintendo is doing kind of the same thing. They're not going to support something that they're really discontinued.
Well, I think it's like what we talked about earlier, where people are just love Nintendo games and they hang on to Nintendo games. If Nintendo comes out with this kind of subscription that I completely pulled out of thin air, and I could buy Thousand Year Door Paper Mario on it, I would pay $20 for that. Like, Super Paper Mario, I would buy that. There's so many games I would buy, and I think Nintendo might actually recognize that people want to play these retro games. They want to play these games, and I can't think of a real good reason to take away Mario 3D All Stars, a Nintendo NES game, on March 31st for no other reason, right? So that's kind of where I'm going with it, and I think that also leads into the Switch Pro, because I think this is probably going to be a user-based subscription on the Switch Pro as well.
So are we talking subscription like you pay 60, I don't know, $20, $50, whatever amount a month, and you have all the games on their library?
No, I think Nintendo's going to still do just like you pay $20 for Nintendo Online, and that's it, one-time fee.
Well, they're not very consumer friendly, so it might be like a monthly fee plus you have to buy the games.
Yeah, so I'll play for online service and then also, sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind's going with it.
It kind of feels like with a lot of their older stuff, like definitely with NES and Super Nintendo, they were just like, these older games we're not going to charge you. And I don't think they're going to put like their GameCube games and Wii games on there to charge you. I think what they'll probably do is they'll probably raise the price to $30 a year and add those two services for you to play, because the Nintendo was just like, we got these games ready to go and emulate and put out for you guys, and we'll just add whatever we can add when we feel like it. You give us $10 more, we add some more stuff, and that's it. That's why I said with Switch Pro, they revised their whole online system. So if they want to add GameCube and Wii, $10 more for anyone who still got their old $20 ones. You'll still get it for the rest of the year till it's over. But when and we'll still give you the Wii and GameCube stuff. But when your subscription is up and you renew it, you gotta pay $30 to keep it. I think they would do something like that. Oh, go ahead, David.
Could I just jump in? It's related, but slightly change the topic. Thinking about a Switch Pro, I think one thing that is kind of nice with the Switch now, and I'd like to see improved on a bit, is the data transfer. This is something that I have to do a lot because my kids have 2 Switch Lites, and then I have my main console. I don't know how often you guys have to do it, but it takes probably about like 7 to 8 clicks of going through to transfer, upload data from one into the cloud and re-download on the other. But even so, it's really nice that I can use different switches and have my same file and profile. And I wonder, with a console like a Switch Pro that's dedicated to being docked, essentially, if there's a faster, more efficient way that they'll create to transfer or access your data on your portable Switch. And I do wonder if a new online membership would be related to that in some way.
Have you done any transferring since the update last week?
I don't know if I have since the update.
Yeah, because they did an update where they made it easier for you to transfer cloud to cloud. And that's when I said to Ed on that episode, I said, Ed, that means it's coming out.
I haven't done it since the update.
There's a setting.
That might be easier then. Check it out and let us know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Jacob.
I was just going to say, that there's a setting. There used to be a setting that said it would automatically upload cloud data, and now there's an extra one that says it will automatically download cloud data when you're connected to like Wi-Fi or something. I did want to mention, because I've never entertained the idea of a Switch Pro that is always docked, and I actually think that's kind of brilliant if it is brought up to the same standards of the new Xbox and new PlayStation, because Nintendo fans have bought 2 consoles all the time until the Switch. So that's nothing new to us to be like, oh, well, I have my docked version, and then I've got my Lite, my handheld version. So that's what I take with me. So if they can streamline that process,
they did discontinue. They did discontinued the dock for a Switch.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you can't buy that. So
Is that why? I've been
Yes.
trying to get my hands on a dock for like 3 months. I didn't
Wait,
know
Yeah.
they
that.
discontinued the dock?
Yeah.
You can't buy it anymore. I
Yeah.
think you can buy refurbished ones, and I think maybe directly from store.nintendo.com.
Okay, so this is proving even more that this is coming out in the spring.
Dan, I
Yeah.
know you want to say that.
I don't even need. I was already starting to figure out how to grill my shoe and everything. I'm not even gonna worry about it.
No, the thing of I didn't deny that it was a Switch Pro that's gonna be made. I just said the release of it in spring is just too early. I
Yeah,
think
and
what
I'm
they're probably
sticking
doing
with
is
it.
I think what they're doing is they're still keeping that idea left that you can pick it up, you still could dock it, but it's gonna be a new version of the dock. This new version, because I feel like with the Switch Pro, since it's gonna have different components and it's gonna be stronger, they need a dock that's going to be stronger enough to do that. So I think they're getting a sleeker design dock. I think it's going to have a lot of USB ports and stuff. They may probably a streaming service like Twitch or something, or Facebook gaming or YouTube gaming. They may add that. They may add a lot of stuff to it, but this new dock to keep the new Switch Pro to be up to 1X, not so much Series X, because Nintendo did say they were looking into new chips for higher performance. So it could be almost like Microsoft and PlayStation. So they have been looking into that. So I think they probably found something. It's probably going to be custom made, but with all of that, they need a new dock, and the old dock wouldn't do.
So a little behind the scenes, we were having this conversation before we started the show, and they were arguing about whether or not it would come out in March or afterwards. I'm about to get kicked off. Ed's about to kick me off the show. The Switch that's sold 70 million units plus right now, what day did that come out?
That came out March 3rd.
Ooh, yes.
So I don't think, because he was making a great point that like a good summer release would be excellent, but I don't think Nintendo cares.
And because the thing about it is that when they released the Switch in March, like I said, it was their fourth quarter, and they had already sold out of Wii U. They had already discontinued it, so they was ready to roll out a new system. And so, in order to do that, to make sure that they made some money for that last quarter, they put the Switch out that early. I think if they was gonna wait, it was gonna be in April. If they felt like the Wii U and 3DS and stuff were not really selling well, like if it really slowed down. So I really think they were just like, well, we got this new system out. Let's meet the deadline before we have to do the cutoff and start our new quarter. So that when more Switches coming in, because they have production problems, with this new quarter or a new start,
And
with our
everybody's
first
wincing
quarter.
in pain with you saying this.
So
I'm just trying to respond to with Switch being released in March, knowing that all the stuff that they discontinued and got rid of. I don't think I don't think that Switch Pro is coming out in March. Why would you try to put that system out by the end of your last quarter? Why not just start in April? Or
I want to hear Jacob on this one.
because that's great. They wanted the money when they were doing bad on the Wii U, but they're doing great with the Switch. They don't care. They've got money out the wazoo with the Switch. They can throw that thing out at any time. Switch Pro can come at any time. Imagine this, right? The stage is black. It's dark, right? He comes out. Oh my God, my brain just blanked.
Doug
Somebody
Bowser?
help me. Yeah, Doug Bowser comes out onto the stage on March 3rd. 4 years ago, we released the Nintendo Switch. Today, we released the Nintendo Switch Pro. And everyone goes nuts!
no, they can't do that.
That would be
They're
so
gonna do it.
cool.
The dock being canceled is the linchpin for me. I've been trying to find that thing for months, and I didn't realize it was discontinued. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me now.
I didn't even know the dock was discontinued.
Yeah.
And I already have I could hold my conspiracy list up here for why it's coming out and touch the ground. Now it's even longer.
and that's what and like I said, I did not deny that a Switch Pro was coming. I just think that March is too early
No,
for
we're
it to
all in
come.
agreement that it's coming.
That is
I'm telling you, it's
now,
coming.
I would say, like I said, now, what if it doesn't come out in March and it comes out in May or June? Like I said, then what?
Then I eat my
the
shoe.
shoe.
I mean, there is nothing logical that would make sense for it to come out anytime after March. We don't know any new IPs. We don't know any games that aren't a port. We don't know anything going on. Now, mind you, Nintendo obviously hasn't said anything about a Switch Pro, so everything we've talked about is pure speculation. So,
Yes.
but like, I mean, there's no reason to believe that a Switch Pro isn't coming out, and it isn't coming out fast. It has to come out in the spring with the little amount we know. They're not going to announce Bayonetta 3 for Switch without announcing their system. They're not going to talk about Breath of the Wild 2 without announcing the Switch system
Yeah.
it's going to be on, you know?
If a Switch Pro is in the works, there's no way these games are coming out on the regular Switch, and the Switch Pro is going to have the same problem that every
Well, I
new
think
console has.
I think what's going to happen.
Exactly.
I think what's going to happen is that it's going to be available for Lite, the regular Switch, and Switch Pro. I think I think when they show the stuff and everything, it's going to be like the best performance, the best way to play is on Switch Pro.
You know what? That actually leads me to another thing. If they do come out with a Switch Pro that's just console, now we have the hybrid, the handheld only, and the console only.
Yeah.
I still, I
Switch
still,
family is what they're
Switch
they're going to
family.
refer to it
I
as, right?
still, I no, because the thing about it is that it's not a switch, because the switch is that you could switch it out and you could dock it in. That was
Well, how
the
do you
thing.
explain
What
the
about
Switch
the
Lite?
Switch Lite? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's their brand, you know.
He's like, oh no, what do I do?
Switch Lite was another way to be able to play Switch, but with less functionality. So even though you can't switch it up, but it's still under the name of Switch, but it's lighter because they removed some functionality. So, but final games, everybody. Give me 3 games that you want to see on Switch Pro. I'm gonna roll with you, Dan, and be like, okay, Switch Pro is coming in March. What is the 3 games on release date for Switch Pro? Jacob, you go first.
You go, okay, easy. Kingdom Hearts full collection. I want Kingdom Hearts on the Switch. I'm really mad that we have the Melody game and not the regular Kingdom Hearts games. Breath of the Wild 2, and I want to see a new F-Zero game. Like
Okay.
top of the line F-Zero game, full speed.
Okay. David. Switch Pro, March 3rd, same day that they released the original Switch. What's your 3 games?
Obviously, Animal Crossing HD. No, seriously, I would love to see Breath of the Wild 2 be a console included game. To have it be released with that, I think that would be great. Like maybe even like a gold edition or something like that as a throwback to the gold cartridges. I'd also like to see Mario Odyssey 2 come out because I think it's about time for that, thinking about when that one came out. And then, honestly, I'd like to see some sort of new IP. We haven't seen something new from Nintendo. That they've stuck with their brands, obviously, but I think I would love to see something new.
Okay. Dan. March, Switch Pro, 3 game release. Go.
3 game release. Bayonetta 3, I think, would be a great one to see. Apparently, it's been in development here and there, off and on. Cyberpunk would be an awesome one to see come to Switch on the Switch Pro. I think that would be awesome. I'm going to go ahead and say Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be a little bit later. I'm I'm going to officially say I think it's coming out in May. I've made a lot of bold statements about these predictions. Breath of the Wild 2 coming out in May.
Okay.
And my third game.
No, this is you already. Are you counting Breath of the Wild as one of the games or not?
No, I thought you said 3
Oh.
with the release. I just said Breath of the Wild going to be later.
Oh, okay.
And man, I don't even have a third game, so go on, Ed.
Okay. So, Switch Pro, March, my 3-game release. Chrono Trigger Remake Collection, where it's going to be Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. Please remake Chrono Cross and take that garbage of a battle system out. Oh, goodness.
It was so good.
That battle system is terrible. I think we get Super Mario Odyssey 2. And I think we get the Treasure Collection. And what that is Sin of Punishment 1 and 2, Mischief Makers, Silver Gun, Rail something Silver Gun, I think. We get Ikaruga, we get Astro Boy, we get some of their other games, but it's a treasure collection that comes out. So those are my 3 games.
Nice.
I'm going to add in one more. You made me realize, thinking back to some of those. I want a new Star Fox game. I think.
That would be great.
Okay.
Star Fox Adventures 2.
Everybody gets one wanted game. So, David, you said Star Fox.
Mm-hmm.
A Star Fox game.
Yep.
Daniel, what was you want?
I want a new Mario game. I don't want Odyssey 2. I don't want Galaxy 3. I want a new Mario game.
Okay. Jacob.
I want a good Mario Party.
And I want Keith Courage in the Alpha Zone to come to Switch. Like, I need a TurboGrafx game to be remade to come to that system. I would have
Kid Icarus or Ice Climbers. There's so many good possibilities.
I would have said Snatcher, but man, oh goodness, you said Cyberpunk, and I was just like, dang it. I will play that.
I mean, if it has the technology in it and all the specs of Series S, why not?
Yes. So, but everybody, that has been the show. Jacob, how was your how did you enjoy the show? Did you like it? Was the conversation good?
This was a blast. I'm really glad I didn't get kicked off by teaming up on you about the release date.
I lost the battle. I cannot defend it. You hit me with the Switch Lite thing against my own logic reason, so I have to give in. Dan and David knows that when I have to give in, I give in and I go with the flow. I'm not saying that it's not happening. I just don't think it's happening in March. If it happens in March, then hopefully we all will have a Switch Pro. We have some great games to play, and Dan might have a Switch Pro without having to buy one. Who knows? But everybody, that has been the show. Oh, yes. Thank you, David, for reminding me. Just now before our last time, before we go, we are in Playing with Power, games that we are playing. So, Jacob, I want to start with you. What have you been playing with Power? Thank you, David, for that. I've completely forgot.
I've been all over Hyrule Warriors. I did a 24-hour live stream on my Twitch channel when that came out, and then have just been grinding away at it nonstop, man. I'm like at 97%. I'm so close to 100%, and I just want to be done with it because it's not, that makes it sound bad, because it's just so good that I'm like ready for the book to close. I'm ready for it to end and me to be like, this has been the experience of a lifetime.
Yes. Dan, what have you been playing with Power?
I played the Tetris 99 Maximus Cup this weekend. I had a blast playing that. It was so cool seeing like the Super Mario World graphics on it.
Yeah, I was playing it this weekend.
Yeah. I didn't come in higher than 11th in the Maximus Cup because like all the real players came back to kick my ass. So
yes.
I played Smash Brothers a few times with you guys. Very, very fun. We had a good time. Age of Calamity, I just got to Chapter 5. According to David, this is where things get a little crazy. I'm done doing side quests. I'm just going to streamline right to the end. And I'm still playing Mario Maker, the game that'll never die for me.
Yes. David, what have you been playing with Power?
Well, like Dan said, we've all been playing some Smash Brothers, which I love. I've also been enjoying the holiday. What's the Animal Crossing term for it? The like Presents Day, I think is how they say Christmas on there. So enjoying that. And then trying to 100% Age of Calamity. I'm at about I think almost 80%. I think now is where I'm at in the game. And I got to say I played, I think 19 Zelda games all the way through, and this has supplanted a lot of them for me. It's at number 2 now for me. I just 10 out of 10 for me on this game, and I love it so much.
Where's the other Hyrule Warriors on?
I enjoyed it. I got like 200 hours into that one, but it's around like 15 for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, I've been playing Breath of the Wild. I just got my armor for the Goron city, so I am getting ready to do that. Everything from this point on is brand new to me. I have never got to this point. I got to where I needed to be on the Wii U version, but when I went to Switch, I had to start all over. So I'm back to where I need to start, where I need to finish the game, get in, finish it, show it. And the jokes about me not finishing Breath of the Wild could end.
this meme might end.
Exactly. Latest Mystery Journey, Catrell and the Millionaire's Conspiracy Deluxe Edition. I have completed for my backlog challenge, so truly enjoyed it. This was a game with a level 5, and we're not going to get any more level 5 games in America unless Nintendo produce it. I don't know. Hopefully. I have Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon, and a Blade of Light, but I have not started it yet. I do have Tetris 99. I am waiting to be done with Breath of the Wild, because once I'm done with Breath of the Wild, it's time for Fire Emblem 3 Houses. It's time to put in that one.
Yes.
For it. And David might get me on this one, but I think while playing Fire Emblem 3 Houses, I may have to play like the SP version of The Legend of Zelda Zelda 2. I don't like that game. That game is organized, and I get frustrated.
And when you start playing it, I'll play it with you, and we'll share frustrations, and we'll try to beat it together, okay?
Yeah, that rewind feature is life-changing. It's like a completely different game.
It really is. So everybody, that has been Nintendo Pow Block. Jacob, thank you. David, thank you. Daniel, Jacob, thank you. Jacob, where can we find you at?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Galatrad, Galturad. For some reason, I'm blanking on my own name. And also on Twitch, I'm at 92 followers on Twitch right now and like 14 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 100 followers on Twitch, so I stream every day. I didn't stream tonight because I was here with y'all guys, and it was a blast. But I stream Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time.
People gonna watch this and hop on Twitch and get your 100.
Oh man, I hope so.
Dan, where can we find you?
You can find me at DCDM99 on Twitter, and you can find our podcast band, me, David, and Celeste. We do that one together. You can see that on our expansion pass. It's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And find our articles on bossrushgames.com.
Yes. David, where can we find you?
Yeah, a couple of places. You can find me at David Lasby on Twitter. I also write articles over at zeldadungeon.net. And lastly, at themighty.com, I have some articles there as well.
And congratulations on you and your wife. Latest article, really, really good. Speaking about trauma. Another
yes,
thing
The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Yes. So
very cool. Very good article.
Very good. Yes. You guys can find me on Twitter at @BretcherCode. You can check out Optional Opinion on SoundCloud and other podcast apps. You can check out Boss Rush Podcast, Arsenal X, Crossroads, Band, 1v1 Talk the Walk recap and other podcasts at BossRushGames.com and on our YouTube page, Boss Rush Games. Check out World 101 Podcast on Podbean.com. And yeah, if you guys want to follow me on Twitch, I'm at the Lyrical One. And if you guys need my Switch code, is on my Twitter page at that retro code. So you guys could hit me up and I will add you to play games. Cause man, we got a lot of stuff covering this. Switch Pro is up there with their online, and it comes out in March. Dan won't have to eat his shoe. But with that, everybody, we will see you next time on Nintendo Pow Block. Bye, everybody. Woo-hoo!
See you later, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Later.